Welcome to the My Creative Days podcast, where we will talk about all things DIY, home decor, decorating tips, and creating a beautiful home on a budget. I am hoping our time together will spark a creative idea, help you plan your next DIY, or inspire you to finally tackle that project you keep putting off. Grab your favorite cup of motivation and let's chat. Hello and happy Monday. Another week is upon us. I thought I would do this podcast episode because it helped a lot of people when I shared it or said it on Instagram and Facebook, and I got a good response from it. So I thought I would do a podcast episode to help motivate you or nudge you or push you a little bit to do it. It's springtime and it is the perfect time. It's kind of one of the most popular times to clean things out, get organized, just get rid of things you're not using. But it's also the best time to be selling stuff on your Facebook Marketplace, your personal Facebook page, Craigslist, Nextdoor app, Let Go. There's multiple apps and places that you can list things. But Matt and I, over the weekend, we were kind of cleaning out some things, and we had like a bike that Gabrielle never used. We had some furniture pieces that I wanted to get rid of. And I just started listing things as we were going through things. And you guys, they sold within a half an hour. So definitely, sorry, I had to turn my phone off. Definitely put this stuff and sell this stuff on your local, whatever they are, whatever you're choosing, whatever platform you're choosing. Because, okay, number one, stop letting these things take up space in your home, attic, garage, basement, wherever it is. Stop doing that. Stop storing stuff you're not using. But number two, make some money. Make some money for a summer vacation, a spring getaway, a long weekend. Soccer, I always say soccer. Neither one of our kids played soccer when we were little, but I always think that's in the summer. A soccer league that your kids want to do. Whatever it is, get some money for these things that are taking up space in your home and you aren't using. And think about everything. This could be tools you're not using. Bikes, bikes. Oh my gosh. Bikes. Those are really popular right now. So if your kids have grown out or they're in the next size or they got a different bike, sell the one they're not using anymore. Sports equipment that your kids have grown out of or not using anymore. Lawnmowers and things that you will use in the spring and the summer. Think those kinds of things. You have, like in Iowa, we have snow blowers and stuff, and those don't do obviously as well in the spring. But think more like mowers, trimmers, those kinds of things. If you aren't using them, sell them. Put them on Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist and just watch them fly. So when I mentioned this on Instagram, I did it in stories and Facebook, and the response I got was crazy. So that's why I'm like, I'm going to do a podcast episode just to maybe motivate one other person to do this, because it's a couple people said, I just needed this push. Oh my gosh, thank you for the motivation. I'm going to do this. I never even thought about this. I'm going to do this. I have, 14 items. So over the next 2 weeks, I'm going to list one item a day. I have 5 items. I'm going to list something, once a day throughout this week. And I was just listing things as we were pulling them out. I would take a photo and then I would list it. And it gets a little crazy because I had multiple messages for each item. So it does get a little bit crazy, especially this time of year. But that's why you want to sell your stuff now. That's why you want to go through your stuff now, because it'll go so fast. I'm writing down a little note here because I just thought of something else. So if you only want to kind of just say one thing a day and you only want to deal with what messages for one thing, just do that. And then when that sells, list your next thing or post your next thing. One thing we have done in the past as well is, I'm just checking for Hilly. I thought I couldn't hear her anymore. That was my chair if you heard that creak. One thing we've done in the past, especially when we've had flip houses, it's so funny because Matt and I were just talking about it. It seems like every flip house, except for one that we have closed on it and started on it in spring. I don't know what that is. But as we are cleaning out flip houses, or like one flip house the guy didn't want to take a lot of the stuff. Matt got tons of tools, like new tools. He wanted to move to a condo. He wanted no maintenance. He wanted no yard work. He wanted nothing. So he left a ton of stuff in the house. And so what we did was, some of the stuff was really usable, but stuff we couldn't use. But I didn't want to go through selling it and going through all that. So we kind of put it out on the curb, and we said free, it's first come, first serve. And you literally that night it was all gone. So if you've got some really good stuff and you don't want to sell it, or you don't want to do you can always set it up on the curb and just take a photo of it and say free and leave the address. I know some people will have, different thoughts about doing that, and that's totally fine too, but that is an option. It is something we have done in the past. So you don't have to do the whole money thing if that's not, if it's nothing you want to deal with, you just want to get rid of it for free. You can also call, usually there's local junk people that will come and, pick up your stuff, and for a small fee, or like the dump fee or whatever, they will pick it up. Some of it, like if it's metal, they'll pick it up for free because then they can make some money on that. So we've definitely done that as well, but it's just such a good time. The weather's getting nicer. I'm pushing you right now. I'm pushing you. I'm trying to motivate you to finally go through those things. And it's kind of like the bigger areas in your house, right? Like we can declutter, and I've done podcast episodes about that. I've done blog posts about it. We can declutter our house all year round, right? If it's cold, snowy, rainy, we can be in the house and declutter those areas. But it's the bigger areas where you might have to pull a ton of things outside to actually go through. Your garage, your sheds, your attics, your basements, those kinds of things. So utilize this prime time to clean out those areas and get rid of your stuff. You will be amazed, and you guys, you will feel so much lighter when that stuff is gone, especially those big items. Like I said, I had a couple of furniture pieces, Gabrielle's bike that she never rode. It was just taking up space. It's like, why do we still have this? Sometimes Matt, I am a little more, loose with getting rid of things. Like I just am like, yep, let's get rid of it. We haven't used it in 3 months, 6 months. It's gone. The kids haven't used it in 3 years. Why do we still have it? Like there is no reason. So, but Matt will be like, well, maybe, or no, she won't use it again. So, and another thing to think about is like, we are adding this mini split to our back porch area. And so it's there's like a system, for lack of a better term, that goes on the outside of the porch, and then we have something on the inside. But where we had to put the system on the outside, we had to clean out kind of under our porch where we kind of stored old wood and good boards that were kind of too big to put in the garage or too heavy. So we kind of stored them underneath that. But as I was going, I was helping Matt and I was underneath there. I'm like, what is this stuff? So that man, love that man, but he's never met a ladder that he couldn't love. And old boards and old wood, it's a good thing to have, especially if you're doing a lot of DIY projects and stuff like we are, because you'll save so much money, especially with wood prices right now. But so we do like to keep a lot of those, scraps, or not like scraps that should go in the trash, but like bigger boards and things that either we found, at Restore or yard sales, or we have left over from a different project. So we do pick those up, but I had no idea he had that many. And so I'm like, we need to go through each board, make sure it's, boards that we will use. And there were many under there that he's like, why did I even keep this? This is, like this board is bent, or this is warped, or this kind of wood will never work for what I kept it for, whatever it is. I'm like, oh my gosh. So we got rid of a lot of that. There's ladders, like extension ladders. And again, there were a couple that we picked up at a flip house that he didn't want anymore. And I'm like, we can totally sell this and just list it and it'll be gone quick and somebody can really use it. We don't need to store it. So just think about all those kinds of things that you're just storing. You will never use them. They will never see the light of day. And I'm talking, springtime clean out of, like I said, garages, sheds, those kinds of things, and go through everything. I mean, if you have the space and can kind of, spend a weekend doing it. I think it was last year or the year before, I can't remember, but we literally took everything out of our garage, every single thing. We kind of have like a cubby drawer system for hardware and things that I keep for my furniture projects and just other projects we're doing. We took everything out of those drawers and like went through each thing. It was the best feeling. It's not a space, our garage, we park our cars in there, but it's not a space that you spend, a lot of living time in. But just know that entire thing was cleaned out of things that we didn't use or wouldn't use. It was amazing. So definitely it's the time to do it. And definitely it's the time this spring before summer hits and people are out, vacationing and just away for the summer or busy with kids' sports or whatever in the summer. They are on Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, Let Go, all those apps looking for those things. So definitely use it. And if you have enough stuff, I tell people, if you have enough stuff, it definitely is worth your time to have a sale, but you definitely have to have enough stuff. If you don't have enough stuff, it's not worth it. But if you can have a yard sale, you could do that as well. But if you just want the quick, get rid of it, somebody comes and picks it up that day, they pay you for it or not. I mean, if you're doing it for free or whatever, just to get it out of there, then I would definitely just post on Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, and those kinds of things. And it was amazing. This past weekend, I'm like, oh my gosh. And there's still a couple of things that I want to put on there, but I just want to make sure. One thing you do have to think about is when you are listing things on those sites, especially now when it's hot and people are looking for it, you kind of have to be home that day. Or, depending on how many items you're going to put on. But it's kind of where, if you're working around the house, list those things on that day because you're going to get so many messages and people wanting to come over instantly. And with the bike, oh my gosh, so one thing I will tell you, when I have ever sold anything on Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, or those kinds of things, I will never hold an item for anybody. So if somebody reaches out to me first and says, oh, I can't get there till 6 p.m. and it's noon, can you hold it for me? No, I don't ever do that because I've had so many no-shows. So it's like you're holding things and then the people that were going to buy it, they're gone. So I won't ever hold it. And so this lady with the bike said, we're going to do something, so we can't be there. It was like a couple hours later. And I said, oh, that's totally fine. So just message me when you are available and I'll let you know if it's still here. So she wanted that bike so bad, she actually redid her afternoon, whatever, had her husband change what he was doing, and then he came to get it. So like I said, right now, their people are wanting these things right now. They're going to do whatever they can to come and get it. Do not hold items because you'll have no-shows or that person will not show up. Or they may just be shopping around, may like your whatever it is, but they're going to shop around for a couple hours and see if they can find something better. So definitely don't hold anything. So how I usually do this is once I list things, people start messaging right away. And it's always, is this still available? Is this still, so that you get those, but then you will get the people like, I will come and get this today. When can I set it up? And so I always just say I have a ton of interest. It's kind of a first come, first serve. And then I get that person that's actually like, okay, I'm coming right now. Like I'm leaving my house right now. And that's kind of where I start. I'll start with them. If they come, I don't think I've ever had to go to the next person. It's usually sold with that first person, whatever it is. But I usually, if a second and third person reaches out, I will say, somebody's coming at 11 a.m. If it's still available or they don't buy it, I will definitely reach out to you. And so, and if it's sold, I don't reach back out to them. And sometimes you'll get that message that says, did it sell? Yes, it did. And then make sure that you take that item off wherever you posted it right away. So then you don't have a ton of messages. People aren't saying, why aren't you responding? It's just off of the platform. And then you can move on to your next item. And get rid of all the stuff you're not using. Either make a little bit of money, get some cash for some fun things you want to do, or just get rid of it for free, whatever you want to do, but get rid of it. That's the whole point. That is the entire point. You get rid of it so it's not taking up space in your, wherever it is, garage, basement, attic, shed, wherever it is. So I just wanted to give you this little push, tell you to do it now because now is the prime time to be doing it. It motivated a lot of people, like I said, on Instagram and Facebook. So I would love to motivate you guys to do the same thing. if you do it, if you sell something, if you have a pile of stuff, if you've got cash in your hand, take a photo of it, post it on Instagram, tag me at My Creative Days. I would love to see it. Tag me and say, I just sold, 5 things out of my garage and this is what I have. Or or show me the space, the empty space you now have in your garage that you can breathe a little bit in there, whatever it is. I would love to see it. Tag me, like I said, I'd love to cheer you on. It just makes me so excited. I love cleaning things out. I love purging. I love organizing. I love having clean spaces, and to help other people do that, it's so fun for me. So, I think that's it for now. I think I got through all my notes. Clean out your garages. Do it before summer starts. Do it before, give yourself a deadline. Before June 1st, you have to get this done, because the summer it will still do okay, but people are kind of just not really as active in the summer because they're busy. They're doing all the fun summer stuff. So June 1st, that's your deadline. Let's get it all cleaned out. Okay, guys, I'll talk to you next week. Hello, friends. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast. I'm grateful that you tune in every week and that you share the show with your family and friends. I love having creative chit chats with you, and my hope is that this podcast will inspire you to try a new project, start a DIY that you've been putting off, and decorate your home exactly how you want it. There are a few ways you can help us with the podcast. Follow the podcast so you don't miss an episode. And if you could take a few minutes to leave the podcast a review, that would help us so, so much. Again, thank you for being here, and I look forward to our chat next week. Bye-bye.